We will call a meeting to order. And we'll do roll call. Let's start with you.
Everett Meyer, City of Timblechurch staff. Bill Overson, FTP. Michael Guile, EPC of Hillsborough County. Gerald Gross, Code Enforcement, Hillsborough County.
Amber Smith, Government Affairs Facility.
Diego Guerra, staff to the river, board of TAC.
Alana Todd, Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council.
Heather Monteo with the City of Tampa staff.
I'm Jackie Julian, Port Tampa Bay and Chair, and then everyone in the back of the room will start on the right with Merrick.
Hi, Eric Butcher, work with PMA, project director, we're requesting permission to build a ADA ramp for the Hilton Tampa River Walk.
I'm Keith Jacobs. I'm the president of Contract Life Solutions. We were awarded the Sulphur Springs Restoration Project for the seawall and phase 1 project.
Christopher Starr, the general contractor, will be doing the seawall installation of Bryan Marine Construction.
I'm Bosco Duke, work with primary construction as well. Be in charge of the construction of the seawall.
And Dustin Ruben Clarkson Consulting with the permitting.
Wonderful. And then online,
Hi, Will Rushing, Hillsborough County citizen. Hi, everyone.
Joel Brown, City of Tampa citizen.
This is Chrissy Carr, ECS, environmental consultant, working with the Tampa River Walk ADA ramp. And Merrick.
Amber Cortazzo, also with ECS, working on the ADA ramp with Merrick.
Hey, Jeff Hurley with ECS as well.
thank you. Did we miss anybody on the line?
Now, they are support staff.
Awesome. All right, and then if we could all take to our standing and do pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none. So we will table the next agenda item, election of officers. And we will table approval of previous meeting summary and move right into the City of Tampa Sulphur Springs Park project presentation.
Good morning. Thank each of you for your time. My name is Keith Jacobs. I'm the general contractor for Contract Life Solutions. I have over 30 years of project management experience, construction management, procurement, and today we were invited to, of course, share our progress with the project. I brought along with me Brian Marine Contractors, Ruben Clarkson Consulting. We have about 8 firms around this project. We've been working on this for over a year, preparation even to start the project. So I wanted to explain our process in addressing this because the habitat for this seawall restoration is unique, right? We have a pool, we have a natural spring run, all next to the actual development. So I'm going to allow Brent, why did we choose True Line as a seawall infrastructure for this project, for its adaptability, reliability, the durability of the system. So I'm going to allow Mr. Christopher Starr and Gasco to share their background with marine installation of seawalls and why we've chosen this system.
So again, I'm Christopher Starr. I work for Bryan Marine Construction. And we are a design build firm that has kind of over time evolved and started specializing in true line seawall installations. This is a very unique project, as Keith said, because of its situation with being backed up against a pool that's backed up against a natural spring on the Hillsborough River. We like True Line because it offers a lower disturbance installation method, along with a low impact profile. It's got a flat front, and it's durable without having to need frequent maintenance. It's actually a, yeah. What True Line is it's a concrete wall that's protected by a polyvinyl form, an interlocking polyvinyl forms, whereas traditional seawalls are corrugated panels that interlock with no sort of structural capacity to them other than the panels themselves. True Line is a concrete wall protected by the vinyl, but where it offers the flexibility is it's the panels themselves are so lightweight that you can move them around with your hands and install them, put machinery on top of them, but then they get pumped full of concrete at the end. So it's a much less intrusive process, but it also allows for a lot of flexibility during the actual installation. We've done these now from Miami to currently Panama City. So we've been traveling the state. We're located headquartered here in Tampa. The True Line also, it offers a lot of adaptability to the terrain. So when you're on a rocky surface, whereas traditionally that would limit you to steel sheets being driven through the rock or big heavy concrete panels precast driven into the rock, True Line, you can actually drive the sheets that sit on top of the rock. And then inside of each form, you can pin vertical rebar into the rock. And that's what gives the lateral support for the wall. So it gives you a lot of flexibility that traditional seawall methods may not actually offer. This is a little bit of background about the team that's been assembled for this job. We have seawall marine contractors. Now, so we have the overall GC with OTLS. We've had hydrologists, environmental engineers, geotechnical engineers, seawall structural engineers, Larson, and that's really have a comprehensive approach to this whole project. And a lot of people involved. Here's a little bit more about True Line, so you can see this is a little bit of a diagram. The polyvinyl forms are installed first. That's on the outside, and they're basically square cells that are vacant and empty. They're driven to whatever surface you need to drive them to, whether it be the rock bottom or into soil. The vertical rebar gets staked through each independent cell. Every single one gets one, or however many the engineer designs. And that's dependent on loads, what the seawall is used for, et cetera. And then you pump concrete through a TREMI system. The concrete's pumped from the bottom to the top to evacuate the native soils or any imperfections that may be in that, giving it structural strength. And it's also, which I spoke on a little bit earlier, a less intrusive method of installing. It's a cleaner pour. It's all self-contained within the panels, and it offers at the end also aesthetically a very nice, smooth, flat front. Any questions on the Jack?
So it's a vinyl face, so that does not necessarily allow recruitment of attached marine barnacles, oysters, or anything like that.
That's correct, and it's no different than any of the material that you'd see, any of the corrugated panels that you see around Tampa. So you will still see barnacle growth, but what we've actually seen with True Line as well is a lot of, because of its flat front, it's allowed a lot of living seawall type structures to be affixed to it relatively easily. And we're starting to see that. We actually had a project in Miami where they're adding that along it as well. It's a living seawall type of a front, which is certainly something that can be explored as well.
Anybody else?
Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth, Jackie, because I mean, it's the vinyl and I think like it has a lot less potential for habitat diversity than say concrete. So you mentioned it allows for these additions later term, but are those currently in the plant for this area?
Well, this part of it we're doing, the whole investigation portion is that for the environmental engineers that we have involved, like even using riprap in front of that vinyl wall is an option. So we are going through the investigative phases to finalize that with our environmental engineers, PPC, and all of those agencies that may provide input to help inform your question. So there's reports that are provided to us by the city. So we're taking all those reports from 2022. They're old reports. We are redoing all of the boundary surveys, everything for this environment. So we are looking into that. That's why we have environmental engineering to ensure that we are being environmental stewards over this project.
I guess I would suggest maybe something that's not vinyl, if that is a concern for that area and you want to put up materials that are conducive to, you know, better habitat outcomes. And then I guess my other question is regarding the vinyl, like how long would this vinyl last before it starts like leaching into the environment, into the water?
So the True Line manufacturers offer a 75-year warranty on the quality of the vinyl, from the manufacturing standpoint. Now, and going back a step, what I should say also is 75% of the True Line walls that we've actually installed ourselves also have a riprap corresponding piece to it. And we found that the two actually end up working really well together and do offer a safe and vibrant environment for the marine and aquatic life. One thing that the True Line, what it really allows you to do is it allows you to have a minimally invasive installation process. From there, you can address a lot of the environmental questions and it needs on a per project basis. But the invasiveness goes way down compared to installing steel sheets or precast concrete panels or having to fresh pour concrete in a kind of leaky type of a form on the site. It gives you a very clean installation and then you can address the environmental concerns with it via a living seawall in the front of it or a riprap slope. But we found that because of how minimally invasive the actual installation is, it ends up being the best of both worlds.
So could you take out the vinyl once the concrete's poured?
It gets fixed too.
There's a picture of our, if you go to the next slide,
Yes.
they can see it, the actual,
Yeah, so here's a little bit of the installation process. And so these square panels, what you're seeing are lightweight. They are the different lengths depending on the exposed height of the wall. And they get driven, you can put them in by hand, and then they get driven with a hammer on top to whatever the specified distance needs to be. And then once you form your alignment, you stake them with vertical rebar. We've seen 4 sticks of vertical rebar or 1, it just depends on the structural capacity and loads that the wall's going to experience. Gets trebi filled from the bottom to the top with the concrete. And then at the end, you have a nice flat front concrete cap as is traditional in most seawalls around Tampa, Hillsborough County. And this is a very standard installation process here.
Go to the plan view and show us where this new replacement seawall, I should say replacement seawall is going to be located.
So roughly along the red dotted line here is the area of concern for this project.
And so are there any tiebacks associated or is it all just held up and anchored with the rebar?
Well, so that's this particular job will have tiebacks, I believe. That's what's in the plan that's there right now, but you know, that is part of the flexibility that True Line offers as well as you can design the wall as a cantilevered wall. So where tiebacks are not an option, in a lot of cases where there are pools or, you know, something that's prohibiting you from driving at length, True Line can be designed as a cantilevered wall because of the vertical rebar that's in it. And that'll actually help you resist the lateral loads that are pushed on the wall for whatever reason. So like I said, there's a lot of flexibility with this product, which is why it's growing in popularity and why we like installing it because you can really adapt to a lot of different situations.
And it looks like there is already some native vegetation or maybe some trees along that river shoreline. Is all that existing vegetation going to be preserved?
So a lot of those are cattails and a lot of them are being removed as much as necessary.
Okay.
But there is a certified arborist being enlisted, already has been enlisted. I think it's been in talk with the EPC.
Yeah, we've completed a new tree survey for the city as well. It's already uploaded into the portal. So yes, we've evaluated every tree. And we've already brought the EPC out. We've walked it with the city as well, so that way we can examine everything that was here.
And then as far as the aquatic vegetation, it's preserved as much as can be for the new installation. It's kind of the plan.
I just wanted to add to the existing seawall had no depots. So the gutter system filled with leaking water and it was pushing the soil through the wall because there's no weep holes in the wall. So the hydrostatic pressure is pushing against that wall. And so
I would say it's a miracle it's held up as well as it has today.
So is this remedial work so that the pool can reopen eventually? The reason that the pool was closed was because of this failure.
Right, right. That is the end goal.
Would you like to just ensure that from the construction side?
Yep, it's a great job.
Okay.
Everything, except for how it's spoken. I was gonna say too, that there hasn't been any studies. Hasn't been any studies on this product. I will say, it's got a very exceptional, typically you get 50-year warranty, this is done with 5-year warranty. So there's a lot more stable. And a lot of people find the problems that are out there. So it's got a lot less, it's a lot less likely to start breaking down.
The other advantage would be like the concrete life extends as well. So now you have concrete protected by vinyl instead of being, like into the adverse conditions, so now you have a solid concrete wall that is protected as well.
Structurally, it really is the best of both worlds between vinyl and concrete walls. And then environmentally, you do have the flexibility to add riprap out of the mixed wall to try to, address all aspects.
How long has this product been out?
Been just over a decade.
You've done about 30 projects.
It's, as far as seawall technology goes, it's new, but it's one of the most notable regions is after the storms 2018, 2019, almost the entire Daytona coast was rebuilt using Dreamland. That was their first big push in Florida.
And it was created for, like down in Miami where you have coral, you cannot drive to the coral. That's where the idea came, to be able to put it on top of the coral and then drive pins into it. So that was the whole idea was created by that.
Specific installation questions while we're on this.
Well, when we finally can vote for the quorum, thank you so much for the background. It was very helpful.
Absolutely. Very much.
Chair, we also have representative for permit 26002, which is ADA ramp down on the river. If any of you have any questions for him regarding that permit as well.
Did anybody have any questions regarding the proposed ADA ramp for the Riverwalk Hotel addition? Want to pull up, just make sure everybody sees it. Know what we're talking about.
Afternoon. So my name is Merrick. I'm the project director with EMA. We're planning on doing some ground public space renovations at the hotel. And so there's a part of it that we are hoping to get across is a ADA ramp that is going to be cantilevered off of the seawall that is adjacent to the pool deck. And this ADA ramp is going to connect to the seawall, go and serve as a way for people and to get access to the hotel, to the pool deck, and a path in towards the restaurant and the amenities of the pool deck coming from the Riverwalk. Reinforced concrete. It's a cantilevered slab. And there's no physical attachments to the Riverwalk except a expansion joint that's going to be adjacent to it, where the other ramp is going up to the hotel, and so it'll be completely supported by the seawall. The highlighted section in yellow there is the ramp that I'm referring to. So to the right of that, there's the existing ramp that turns on itself, switch back. And then we would be taking it off of that landing in the middle and head to the south or the left. And that would incline up with a landing in the middle and then connect onto the top of the seawall would be the top of the ADA ramp. And that way you got access directly into the circular part of the hotel we call the Rotunda, which is a restaurant slash bar. And that's it, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It's gonna look, it's not exactly very close to what the Riverwalk, the finishes, materials, railings, everything. So it'll look like it's a part of a extension of the existing ramp that's there now.
So this right now is the existing City of Tampa concrete seawall. This is the edge of the existing Riverwalk. And so this area in the highlighted where the ADA access ramp is proposed is just a gap between the Riverwalk pedestrian elevated walkway and the seawall of the hotel. Anybody have any questions? Okay, well, thank you, Merrick, for that additional background. The only comment I have is, item F in the consistencies for Tampa Bay minor work permit application number 23-058. That one is actually, on the Alafaya River, not the Hillsborough River, so that one can actually come off. All right, well, since we don't have a quorum, we will have to table the election of the officers, the approval of the previous meeting minutes, and all of the consistency recommendations until the next monthly meeting. Thank you all for being here. Sorry we were unable to vote, but we'll get these.
The election started. So as a reminder for members here and online, elections are in person. So it'd be great if everyone can make it next month for in-person elections. Again, the quorum is 7 members.
Much appreciated, and hope to see you all for voting next month. We hereby consider the meeting adjourned.